Kigali hari intore zinajorwa reka turirimbe intore zabahizi inshoza mihigo za Nyarugenge muri intore zinajorwa reka turirimbe intore zabahizi imbanza rugamba za Kicukiro muri intore zinajorwa reka turirimbe intore zabahizi indengabaga
It starts with like what?
Hello, Mr. President. Vivien Latour for the newspaper La Croix in France. What are your thoughts on the very likely dismissal of Charles against Agathe Abiyarimana in France, and the link or influence her family could still have with FDLR through Kinshasa? Thanks.
These are some of the things I was saying, that how the history, the facts there, sometimes they keep playing out back and forth, and even leading to minimizing the identity and the effects and the real bad the identity and the effects and the real bad image and of FD playing out in different places and ways. Yeah, in the recent time, years, months, we are aware the son, one of the sons of the son of Abiyarimana, and some of the people who ran away from here, by the way, who live in Europe, United States, and have been active on this agenda of FDLR, and they've been recruited, they are financed, they've been forming different things under the tutelage of the president of DRC, personally, not even DRC, personally, not even we follow, we see the visits, the many visits they pay to DRC government in Kinshasa, and we follow their activities. They are enabled to get involved in. There are even those who used to be the officials of government who ran away like 20 years ago, again because of association with the FDLR or other activities to undermine the integrity and fail the government so that it doesn't move forward. So you can link these things. You see the FDLR being covered up by some authorities in Europe and elsewhere. Then the family of Yarimana and individuals who were active in what happened in the tragedy, like his wife, and they are in the courts of law. The cases are treated the way those powers decide. And then those activities leading up to, and then in the end you have people saying, you know, if there are, how many people are they? You know, really it's like, for us who complain about, when we are complaining about FDLR, these genociders, actually it is not even complaining about them in isolation. They are strengthened, they are made effective by the association they have with, for example, the government in Kinshasa or some authorities in Europe, or who allow this to, and then in the end who openly play down this. So you can put all that together and form a picture of how manipulations and wrong things have been going on around this problem of FDLR, but also how that relates to what is happening in Eastern Congo, or in Congo, and the noises that are made after that. Then you see resolutions that the UN sort of not bothered about FDLR, and not even bothered by those who support them, and trying to distance and make them innocent, those who support them. So it is in that form that we see even that case, how it has evolved. It has something to do with all that.
Next question from Theodore.
Hello, Mr. President. Theodore de Queiroz. I'm a French journalist based in Rwanda for Le Monde and the AFP, and also TV5 Monde. You spoke about association between FDLR and Kinshasa. Could you share us more information about the association? Do you have any clue of that? But also, can you help us to assess the FDLR threat in Eastern Congo in terms of number and firepower? Also, as dismantling the FDLR group seems to be one of the key of the Washington Peace Agreement, when will you consider that this group is dismantled? Thank you.
Well, everything I have said, even here, about FDLR and those who they are associated with, explains that. I don't know whether I just have to repeat myself. In fact, I even talked about how there has been talk about numbers as a way of making it. The easiest way to give you numbers, if you operate here, maybe you should find time, they give you access, you talk to these people who have been captured and brought here among the leadership of FDLR, so that you talk to them directly. They will give you. But again, the issue of numbers. By the way, I have seen that, for example, let me give you you know, in Congo, there are different forces. Let's say there are forces of Burundi, big numbers actually. Last time, since we talked about GOMA, that even before just before GOMA failed, Burundi had in Congo over 10,000 troops on the ground. Then you know that there are Ugandan forces in the areas of Ituri, Beni, and so on and so forth. According to DRC, these are invited, so meaning they are there legally. But for the forces, for example, of Uganda, one of the reasons they are legally there or invited is to do with these groups of ADF. Would you be interested in finding out or understanding, or let us understand, in terms of numbers, how many are ADF? To make it such a significant problem that justifies the presence of, let's say, the amount of forces that, the number of forces that came from. Do you have an idea? So, because I suspect there may be a fraction of FDLR, but it is taken seriously by that label put on them, terrorists. You see, terrorists, even when they are 5, they actually do harm, and people take that seriously. So if there are, why no one would take them seriously, knowing that their history, and worse still, knowing that they are associated with a government in DRC. And I mean, this is a public knowledge. Even the way you have heard of hate speech, you have heard of all kinds of things. If you want to know, you must be knowing. So still the issue becomes, how many would they be? How many? So it's like putting me to task. One, it is falsifying the issue of numbers. If we want to know about numbers, there are many. That's very fact. Then, but the essence of saying how many are they? It's like to say you are exaggerating. No, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about what you said that is said by so many, including authorities in Europe. I have been asked by some leaders of Europe, how many are they likely to be? When somebody asks me that question, immediately I know he's interested in covering up the problem. And therefore, I associate it with all this I see. I said earlier, when you are talking about FDR, say the resolutions, the statements made at the UN, they come saying, it is really like a whisper. It is just mentioned in the passing. It's not. But the reason is so that it's like Rwanda should not be taking action against them, which means from there, I can see they are saying they are not connected with the whole history or even their responsibility in what they did here. Well, by the way, they have also questioned even numbers of those who were killed in the genocide. It says moderate this and the others are just mentioned in the passing. It becomes an issue of moderate people who died. It's not about the mass of people who were killed in the genocide. This has been a subject of discussion and debate unnecessarily, in my view, for such a long time. So, again, the connection with between FDR and the Kinshasa government, and my friend, I'm sure you know. And as a journalist, I'm sure you investigate, you should be knowing. I don't know whether I'm being tested to show how much I know, because I'm being asked by people who know. Then we can put it another day.
Next question to New Times.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. My name is James Munyanez. I'm from the New Times. Mr. President, you have previously said that Africa's instability is often the result of leaders failing their people, and that coups are symptoms of deeper governance problems rather than solutions. Mr. President, with the recent developments in Guinea-Bissau and in other places before that, like Madagascar and other areas across Africa, what do these developments reveal about the state of governance?
What is that?
What do these developments, like the coups that we've been seeing, reveal about governance, the state of governance on the continent, and what should African institutions and particularly the leaders of Africa do differently? Because, Mr. President, there's a sense increasing among young people that maybe you have leaders that kind of protect a club of leaders across the continent that kind of protect each other. So what should leaders of Africa and what should the African institutions do differently, Mr. President? Thank you.
You know, first time when I heard about the coup in Guinea-Bissau, even now I'm not sure really what happened. But when I heard it first, I thought somebody was carrying a coup against himself. That was my first reaction. It didn't appear to me like there was a real coup taking place. Even now, I need some time to confirm. But let me assume it happened, or that in Madagascar happened. For sure it happened, because I think somebody's on the run and there's another one sitting there. To begin with, it means I'm vindicated in what I said that you referred to. And maybe we'll have more coups. And so be it. That is my approach to that question. If there are going to be more coups anywhere around the continent, so be it. Because I also believe, true, where coups are taking place, there must be something wrong that has been happening, even all along. You can assume, you can read stories, you can see and appreciate and like something, but once there is a coup, maybe 90% plus it means in that place there has been a problem. People have been not talking about or covering up or something. Now, I don't know whether you want, again, my opinion, which I have. Because what is interesting, some of these coups are happening in a place where these, they are happening in places where these people who make judgment about us, the West, have been praising leaders. Okay? These coups only happen to tell these people you've been telling lies. Tell me, and maybe you can think about it and investigate and find out later, you'll tell me later. If this coup is not a coup against, let's say, in Guinea-Bissau, what do you know about Guinea-Bissau that tells you, you know what? Such a coup should not have happened. What is it? Because, or even go to Madagascar and tell me, you know, the way I know Madagascar, the way I've seen, why should the coup have happened? When we ask ourselves the questions in that form, we might then get to understand whether there are underlying problems or there haven't been, somebody just out of madness acted and overthrew a government. So the young people you talked about, you call them Gen Z? Well, why did you go to Z before you went to Gen Zero? I mean, the last resort, maybe. Is that what it means? I'm just guessing. Still, they are an expression that something is amiss. It may not even mean that they are always right. You see? But I would rather than, for those of us who are still around and don't want to be overthrown, we may need to find a way of making these young people responsible also, so that they feel they are part of, and therefore no need to overthrow. You see what I mean? Because there are so many, they can't all also be operating recklessly, collectively. Maybe some young, some hot heads among them can mobilize others, but still to move the whole mass to do something. So before they do that, it's our responsibility maybe to do something so that they have no need to do that. Because where does it end up anyway? I haven't heard, except in a very distant place, but also differently. I haven't heard any of these ones go through that process and becomes the leader. So they always end somehow, maybe for another year, for another term, okay? There is a way to to do things and to have a conversation in a manner that they become part of. And they become part of, if a country, because countries have problems, mine has problems. And people necessarily do not get everything they want, because there are real problems that people say, this country, if I use my example, wouldn't have everything as they wish to have it. But it is my duty, and for those other leaders of this country, to be out there transparently explaining to people why there are these problems, and show the effort you are making, and also that it involves them to try and deal with this problem. If somebody has the problem they understand, they won't be violent. They'll even be more sympathetic. They'll be a bit sympathetic because they know somebody, let's say you may say you want a road there. People may say, I want to see a road 100 kilometers from here to there, tarmac road. But if I go to them, I say, you know what? I'm really trying to put this road because I also think it should be there. But the resources we have, the envelope, so small that we have to split it in so many things, hospitals, schools, this and that. So I'm still falling short of the budget to take care of these roads. So please bear with me. And then I will also tell them, we see in our tax revenues, we are trying to get money from, but you're also not paying up. You are dodging taxes, you are doing this. So please, if you have, I'll make sure that your money, we'll find a way to making this road. Or, you see, they were used to having these powerful people, the donors, giving money, and I'll tell them, you know what? They no longer give the money. You were used, you were spoiled that these people would provide money, but they are no longer showing up. Maybe they all have their own roads to build too. and the money is falling short. So, and say, but bear with me, but let's be together. So if you are transparent and they understand, they don't have that thing because it's not your problem. It's not somebody who got the money and they took it in corruption or something. Why would anybody get angry with me if I have explained like that? But if they suspect, no, but you're not sure, you're not taking your this money for yourself, they will not be sympathetic. They may even tear me eyes and laugh and clap and like they have listened to me, but in their hearts, they are keeping a grudge with me. Yes. So one day they will show up on the street. If it's the road, it's a hospital, it's this, it's that, and then later on they get news about this man who is not, he's building a castle in Paris or in Brussels or in New York. They will come for your throat. Yes, they will. It becomes only a matter of time. They will come for you know, he'll come at you and you'll face it. So, but for the coups, for me, I summarize what I've said before. In a way, maybe there are good coups and bad coups. There might be a coup by somebody who got high-handed and high anyway, just not 100, but high, and became reckless and thought because he has a gun he will go and take power. That's a bad coup. But if somebody, a group of people say, no, enough is enough. These guys have been telling us lies. They're enriching themselves. They are cheating us. We can't have it anymore. It's stinking. And they go for whatever form they do it. I think I'm okay with it. I know it'll be misunderstood, but with that. But not entirely okay until I see that somebody who did that, or people who did that, and they were sick and tired, and that was justification, until they are seen to be making a part there. You see, there are these coups, people really have a knee-jerk reaction about coups. It's a coup, everybody, that one should face the barrel of the gun. Let's now, before the coups, talk about that situation. If you have a constitutional government led by civilians, and they are killing their own people, they are mismanaging everything, they are taking all the resources of the country for themselves and taking it outside and literally destroying the countries they lead. And then there comes an election after 4 or 5 years or whatever. You know what happens? People should also get tired of this. If you have that record, if you have that history, should it be automatic that you should continue just because you are a civilian and even when you cheat elections? Do you get it? Because it has almost become automatic that if you are there, you are sure of winning the next election. Okay? Even when you are doing all these terrible things to your own people. So, is it justified to say, yes, this one, even to say at least what? At least he's a civilian, or at least he kills few people, or fewer people, or what? Do you really, can that be a justification? Now, when I'm saying that, there should therefore be a mechanism, maybe at the African Union level, to also hold people, the civilians, who are messing up their countries and who are cheating elections every other day, and they keep going just because they are civilians and just because they are... But the Constitution does not provide for you to cheat the elections, does it? Again, there is a funny example in our neighborhood. this Congo we are struggling with, we are talking about. This man who raises the whole world and causes all kinds of troubles. When was he elected? No, you seriously, you here, tell me when. First time? The second time? No, you are silent, but you should be giving, you must be knowing something. But the first time he was just handed over by his friend. Somebody should have had won. This is public knowledge. In this one, there was a smoke screen here about election. But elections did not happen. In fact, you are likely to have a third one. It's coming. There's another third time it's coming back under the same fraudulently. But when you see these people who talk about democracy, about everything, and it's like they're the first to send messages, thank you very much, congratulations. And even when they are privy to this information, they know it. Sometimes maybe they even encourage them to do it. They give them a call in the evening. They say, you know, please, by the way, I have a company that is looking for cobalt. Are you aware of that? You know, company X that is, can you give them, what do they call it? Concessions. Can you give them? He says, yeah, of course I do. Okay. That is a deal. A deal for cobalt, a deal for winning elections even if nothing happens, or to win even when he has lost. I mean, you must be aware of these things and how they go. So you can crucify me for my crimes, but when it comes to you, as I also said, I talk about it. So why this world we are in, it's not playing ping pong. It's just because at the same time we are talking about lives of people, right? Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. President. Scovia.
Mwakoze nyakubahwa Perezida wa Repubulika, nitwa Scovia Mutesi, ndi umuyobozi w'ikinyamakuru Mama wa Gasabo TV. Nashaka kubaza ku kibazo abacuruzi bafite inganda mu Rwanda uyu munsi bavuga ko babangamiwe no guhangana n'ibicuruzwa bituruka mu mahanga kuko basabwa ko bapfunyika cyangwa package mu bikoresho bitangiza ibidukikije mu gihe bituruka mu mahanga biza muri plastique byaba bifunze mu macupa cyangwa amashashi abifunze. Basanga rero badashobora guhangana nabo ku isoko, bikaba bifite ingaruka ku nganda zabo, aho bamwe bavuga ko ahari bashobora kujya hanze kugira ngo nabo binjize ibisa n'ibyo. Basanga niba ntacyo bitwaye nabo bashobora kubikoresha. Ikindi kibazo nari mfite ni ikijyanye n'abaturage uyu munsi bishimira imihanda itandukanye hirya no hino mu gihugu ihuza uturere, ariko abakora iyi mihanda minini ya kaburimbo ntabwo bashyiraho rigori cyangwa inzira z'amazi zigera mu gishanga, amazi akajya mu ngo z'abantu cyangwa mu mirima, aho usanga rimwe na rimwe bisanga batuye mu manegeka kubera igikorwa remezo cyaje. Ndabashimiye kwa Perezida wa Repubulika.
Well, icyambere kitari n'iki ikibazo uvuze kibi inganda n'abacuruzi n'iki. Ikibazo cya mbere dufite ahubwo nta nganda dufite. Niba twubakaga inganda nyazo byadufasha ibintu ntibigomba tukagabanya ibiva hanze bimwe bikaba biri hano cyangwa twe tubyohereza hanze aho niho nahera twashaka uburyo byakorwa kuko hari ibintu byinshi bishobora gukorwa mu gihugu byanajyanwa hanze cyangwa byakoreshwa mu gihugu bidakeneye plastique niba naho twaharebaga cyane tukagabanya ariko kuri ibyo bindi ubwo busumbane buzanwa mu bacuruzi n'ayo mategeko ya plastique kugira ngo bigomba kuba ikibazo cya mbere bikorwa nabi cyangwa bikurikiranwa nabi icyo kibazo kimaze igihe ndibuka ko kigeze kuganirwa abantu bagifatira ingamba z'ukuntu ntabwo ubwo bitumye nibaza aho byahereye kuko ikibazo cyaraganiriwe cyagomba gufatirwa ibyemezo ariko ejo nzabisuzuma numve neza uko bimeze ejo dufite cabinet meeting rwose ndumva nzakibaza abantu birimo bakansobanurira hari uburyo bugomba kuba buriho ibintu byakorwa cyangwa bikaringanizwa bitakutaje cyane abakorera mu gihugu kurusha abakorera hanze bazana ibintu hagomba kuba hari uburyo ntibivuze ngo dukwiriye kurekura noneho kuko nabyo uko byari bimeze twasanzemo harimo akamaro kanini harimo inyungu nini ibyo kuvanaho za packaging ibintu bya plastique ariko abantu babisuzumye neza bashobora no gushyiraho ingero zitandukanye ibintu bimwe byakorerwaho cyangwa uburyo byakorwa bikagabanya ubwo bukana bw'abantu batakaza imari kubera ko ibiva hanze nabyo bikwiriye kuba bifite uko bigera nabyongeraho amafaranga kubera iyo mpamvu kugira ngo nkuringanize n'uwo mu gihugu wishyura ibirenze kubera ko we yabikoreye mu gihugu byose ushobora kubishyiraho rwose taxi ari ukoresha hano nta bundi buryo agomba gukoresha plastique nashyiraho taxi ariko byagera kubivana uzana plastique ayivana hanze nko kuba kabiri